Hey, it's Tom Gallagher, another edition of the Story Behind the Car. I'm with Jeff Reddington and his
1978 BRAT, Subaru BRAT.
Subaru BRAT. First thing I got to ask you, how long have you had it?
I've had it about 6 years.
And where did you find it?
So it's originally a California car. Most of these cars were lost to rust.
Yeah, they rusted
This
quickly.
one actually came out of Arkansas, and it's kind of got an interesting story behind it. A gentleman who had restored 29 cars did this one with his son, and his son was later killed in a car accident.
Oh, man.
And so when I was looking at this car, they were interviewing me because they didn't want the car just to go to anybody. They didn't want it tore up. So
This is awesome.
thank you.
What I got to ask you, what the heck, the motor, is it front wheel drive, rear wheel, four wheel? Or?
So the early Subarus were front wheel or four wheel. So it's got a transfer case to make it four wheel. It's a 1600 cc, all original engine with a Weber carburetor, which was pretty common replacement for the Hitachi carburetors were very finicky.
Yes. Wow. I've never seen the engine on one. When I was growing up, you'd see them on the road occasionally.
Yeah, they later went to an 1800 cc, but the 78 was the first year they were imported to the United States.
Yeah.
And when we get around back, we'll talk about the rear seats. But
so I'm going to interrupt you real quick. Is this a factory wheel?
Correct.
And
correct.
so, but this is different. I see. Are these factory as well?
They are factory. I guess the spare was probably different.
Yeah. I just was curious.
But it is all correct.
Yeah.
So in '78, you had American cars didn't want the Japanese cars here.
Yeah.
So there was a chicken tax. And there's a lot of stories behind the chicken tax, but if the pickup truck could haul chickens, you had to pay a 25% import tax. And Subaru said, well, we'll never be able to sell our cars with a 25% import tax.
Yeah.
So somebody came up with the idea, well, if we put seats in the back, essentially it's a passenger vehicle. And
holy cow.
DOT said, yeah, you're right. So the seats were to avoid, then it was a 2.5% tax.
Yeah.
Rather than a 25%.
I never knew that. I was always wondering because it was a big deal when we were kids. We're probably around the same age.
Sure. So, and I've left the Razorback sticker in honor of the young man that restored it with his father. But it was a rotisserie restoration. The underside's as clean as the above side, and none of the classic rust that really took them out.
And do you mind dropping the tailgate just to see what the heck it looks like? That's really cool.
Yeah.
It's interesting that they got the weather stripping there.
Yeah. No, me and my daughter's usually with me at the shows. She took this one off, but it's something that we went out and showed, the car together and just had a lot of family fun with it.
Yeah. And I know it's been restored, but it's original. So it had the roll cage on it and it had the seats.
It's correct to this car. Yep. The
Yeah.
seats with the handles, and this was pre-seat belts. The later versions had seat belts. I believe the seats were offered up in Gen 2 till I think 82 was maybe the last year. I could be wrong on that.
And is this just a knob or?
No, that's functional.
Oh, so you turn it. Okay. Very cool.
Got your gas cap.
Yeah.
Yep. A lot of fun. Gets a lot of looks.
Can I open the door? Is that okay?
Go right ahead.
So whenever I shoot a car, I always try to ask about quirkiness, but this whole car is quirky. Everything about it.
Pretty much by nature.
Yeah.
There's some more work I could do inside at some point. I probably need to send the dash off, but they all got cracked. And fortunately, mine came with the cover, but.
Really, really cool.
Yeah.
So other than the engine and the seats in the back, those are obvious quirky things. Anything else? I guess this you could put lights up here back in the day.
Yeah.
Any other quirkiness that the most people wouldn't even know about? Of course, no one really knows about that.
I mean, it's just an oddity in its own, and that's what really draws people around. It's had a lot of viewers today, but
how reliable is it?
Believe it or not, this thing starts all the time, and this battery's like 20 years old or something. It's, 12-year-old battery, and I never had to charge it. It just fires, because there's no parasitic draw on a simple car with no electronics.
Wow. So here's a unique question for you. if somebody was looking for a Brat, what advice would you have for them to locate one, to acquire one?
Well, go west, young man, because everything else is going to be ate up with rust, and look it over good, because they were known to get rust in the corner of the beds and underneath. And so I looked at one in southern Missouri, and it was so rotted out, I just walked away.
Yeah.
You know, it was just beyond resurrection.
Are they, what kind of money do they bring generally nowadays?
Anywhere from 8 to 15 for a real clean one.
Really? That's not that bad.
No. It's not crazy. It's unique. There are parts out there. You do got to look. They were very popular in Australia. They were called Bumbies over there. So
okay.
Some of the parts can be hard to find. If you need a tail light, you gotta. There's guys that'll charge you $500, but if you network with somebody online, you'll find one for $50. You know?
Yeah.
So it's patience.
Yeah. Well, anything before we wrap it up? Anything else you want to tell us about it, Jeff?
No, it's just a lot of fun and sure enjoy it. And glad you guys got to enjoy it today with me.
Yeah, well, thank you so very much.